You know, here. What's up? I was thinking about something.
What are you thinking about, bro?
I was thinking about what's going on in the earth, right?
What's happening in our minds?
Yeah, and I wondered, why does it matter?
We're about to find out.
Holy shit. Ready?
Just kidding.
Welcome to Earth, Mind, and Matter. We said, fuck it, let's talk about albums. We said, let's talk about some movies and some fucking comics. This week in the universe, across the internet.
So what's up, Javi?
What's going on, Frankie? Hey guys, Javi here. Just letting you know, this episode was recorded on November 26, 2021. We're releasing the second test episode before our first official episode because we decided, hey, why not? We want you guys to check it out. So, hope you enjoy. Thanks. Today, we're going to be looking at a few things. We got Astroworld. We got Kyle Rittenhouse.
The GOAT.
And we're going to be looking at Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. What do all these things have in common? These are things that are going on in the earth.
In our minds.
And here's why it matters. This is Earth, Mind, and Matter. Welcome to the show, guys.
How you doing, Javi? How's everything?
Yo, man. Things are doing pretty well right now. How are you, Frankie?
I'm chilling, man. I'm good. I'm excited. I have a lot on my mind, you know. And now more than ever, I'm happy to really be here to be speaking about all this shit going on. So I'm hype, honestly speaking.
So What do you want to talk about first? You want to jump into the news? You want to talk about your day? You want to talk about Star Wars?
You know, that Star Wars shit is crazy, but let's talk about the Astroworld thing because I didn't expect that to come up, right?
Okay.
And that kind of happened pretty recently, right? So I'm gonna go off the bat. So we went to a concert, right? And who was the artist playing that day? I always forget.
We went to see the Menzingers,
and that shit was crazy. And now I never ever experienced something that people will call like a mosh or whatever. You know, I've always heard about it and always wanted to partake. And being there that day, I mean,
have you partaken in the mosh?
But that shit was crazy. And there's two things I learned that day. One, I mean, motherfuckers go crazy during the moment of that, right? But also, two, people are really nice in that havoc, right? People are really helpful in terms of you not falling. I lost my shoe. I got that shit back. You know,
yeah,
etc. Anybody that's experienced it can know, and anybody that hasn't, I got a really good vibe off that. But following that, within the next 2 days, the Astroworld shit came out, right?
Yep.
So I felt like that was crazy timing, universe wise, of you know. But I got to experience that, and then motherfuckers died. So what do you think? What do you think about that?
Well. Okay. So I got some facts I'm gonna throw at you real quick. So Astroworld happened in Houston.
Okay.
It's hometown of Travis Scott.
Yes, it is.
And Astroworld is a 2-day festival. Started November 5th and 6th. This happened on the 5th. And this is actually similar to something that happened in 1979.
Okay.
Which I thought was pretty interesting. It happened with the band The Who. And in 1979, 11 people died. And the show still went on because this happened outside of the venue.
So it wasn't within the realm of the concert. Like they didn't buy tickets.
They did buy tickets.
All right.
What happened is that there was a bunch of people lined up for that show, and it was for a Coliseum, and they didn't open up enough doors, and so too many people were flooding in at the same time after they having their tickets and whatever, and people were just getting trampled and attacked and whatever.
Oh my God! 11 people died.
And 11 people died at the doors of the venue. And they didn't tell anyone inside the venue or the band itself. They didn't tell The Who. So they still went on at the show. Crazy. And then they were told after the show.
Pretty rock and roll. But that happened in 1979.
Yeah. Okay. I thought that was pretty wild.
That is pretty wild.
And it's pretty crazy too, because you know it's Star Wars 1977. Pretty close.
Yeah,
pretty
man, right around there and shit, right? And I also think it's crazy because you see you know, obviously in social media nowadays, whether it be like TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever people use nowadays, there's a lot of reference to other artists who stopped the show during the thing, right? Like, I think, I don't know who it was, but there's several artists who've
I've seen a clip of Linkin Park.
There we go.
That.
I thought it was Fall Out Boy. I don't want to fuck up. You know, I'm sure Fall Out Boy is great, but yeah, they stopped the show. They were like, "Hey, get in the middle" and stuff like that. And Now, like, I just think that people are so quick to like jump into this opinionated bubble, right? Like you have to be part of one side or the other. It's too much like eyes on you to be like, oh, did maybe Travis Scott did do something to help or not help or this or that, and you see like 4 second or 1 minute videos of an event that lasted like hours, you know, and he's known for this too.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm not defending the fact that like, oh, not only 9 people died. No, like it's sad as fuck that 9 people died. But I also think it's very interesting that people are, and I don't know I'm saying people a lot, but they want to act like they know all the facts, but they just go off these viral videos, and now they want to ruin Travis Scott's life, like, and like basically hang him, you know, like in I forget the guy who dies for his name in the book. You know what I'm talking about, right? John. You know,
that was super vague. The guy in the book
named John.
You know, that one guy in that one book. You know what I'm talking about?
With the hair and the eyes, bro. But basically, the story goes he didn't want to tarnish his name, so he'd rather have gotten hung than to lie and say that was my fault.
Okay.
You know, and I know people listening to this are like, oh yeah, I read that in middle school, because I did. Clearly, it wasn't memorable enough to fucking talk about it, you know. But yeah, I feel like they want to do everything to Travis Scott, but I think the people to look at are the ones in the crowd that actually stomped on the people, you know, whether they were on drugs or like drunk or whatever. I mean, that's pretty heartless, because in the Menzingers, when I was falling, bro, all I felt was hands pick me up back, and I was like, what the fuck? I've never felt that in my life, especially in the crowd going crazy, you know?
So
what's up?
What I think is pretty interesting too is that apparently the festival was pretty messy from the start.
Okay.
And there's still no idea why this happened. Like, you know, there are a bunch of rumors out there and whatever. People think that maybe there was a drug going out there and things like that. Yeah.
Shit like that. Crazy.
But what's crazy to think is that some of the quotes from what happened that day.
Quote. Memorable. Another quote. Woo!
My leg. But we got someone that said, I got there around 3 and saw people already struggling to stand straight. There was a lot of mob mentality going on. People willing to do whatever to be in line for merch, food, shows, you name it.
Yeah. Water.
A lot of fights broke out throughout the day. Another person said, you could literally jump in the air and you're there in the air. It's like if your hands are up, your hands are staying up. And it's kind of interesting what you said about how like with Travis Scott, like being known for what he does at these shows, kind of being like super crazy and whatever. But there was a video that was removed off of YouTube that kind of did show him like checking on the fact that he saw like ambulance people or whatever going into the crowd at some point. And he kind of took a second, the music paused for a second, and he tried to make sure that if everyone was okay to stick their middle fingers up in the air.
Oh, dope. I mean, regardless of any signage of like, you know, well-being and stuff like that. I've also saw a video where I think it was that or a very similar one where he basically does the same thing. He's like, hey, is that person okay? And he says to the crowd, hey, we're all here for one another, and the reason we do this is for love and da-da-da-da-da. Things that people probably disregard because, I mean, hate is such a like contagious thing to pass around today, you know. And again, I think it has to do with people's self-image, like the way they want to portray themselves to others. So like you want to scream oh, like murderer, and then like other people will like be like, oh, he's a good person because he thinks Travis Scott's a bad person. And like despite anything or the apology video, I don't think this guy is doing okay knowing that 9 people died, you know, at his concert. But the Who thing, I've never seen nobody reference that at all. You know, they reference the good things, but the Who thing is crazy. 11 people, that's double digits. You know? And that's kind of wild. That is wild, not kind of wild, you know. So
on the scale of wild,
that ass, bro. Wild with 3Ds, bro. 3Ds, but and I mean, people will say it's the 70s and da 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 da, but music is ageless, I think so, or timeless, or however, like. It will make people act way crazier than you've ever seen anybody act before, you know? So I think I've heard from friends of mine that Rolling Loud, like he said, a friend of mine and his girlfriend, they were at the concert together. And when they were like moshing and like doing all that stuff or pushing or whatever, he said the one thing he felt the most was like anxiety. He was like, I felt like my heart was like caved in. And if the whole crowd swayed to the left, They used to sway to the left and to the right. And so people would go to the front and get pulled out from the security guards and stuff like that. And I mean, that resembles, Astroworld, to an extent.
Yeah.
Because Rolling Loud is a huge festival. What I don't like is I see nowadays all these artists putting on this little facade of like, I've seen SZA, a video of SZA. She's like, she stopped the concert. She's like, I want to make sure everybody's okay. I want to make sure that everybody's okay. Left side, are you okay? Right side. And, I saw a good comment. It was like, nobody's moshing at a SZA concert. Nobody's doing that. But also, you weren't doing that before, or like I'm sure like, the Lil Uzi, they were trying to stop his show during the process. He didn't allow that because just like Travis Scott, he has a reputation for always having that type of show. And I feel like you can't let one event stop expression, and like that's what music does. It allows you to express yourself.
Apparently they didn't even want to end the show early of Astroworld. They were kind of forced to end it like 30-40 minutes early.
I believe it.
But they didn't want to end it early, which is pretty interesting. It's kind of fucked up.
100%.
Like they knew what was going on and they were like, no, like, because they didn't want to deal with the bad publicity. They were like, no, we don't want to deal with that.
That's when it gets kind of tricky, right? When it's like, what's happening, money, this or that.
And well, there's a lot of talk of like, if there's enough security and whatever. They had 505 security staff, 91 armed private security staff, and 76 off-duty officers.
So like 700 approximately, like overall staff.
Pretty much, yeah.
And how much attendance? Like thousands, probably, right?
Yeah, I don't have that number, but that's a lot of security.
Yeah,
like that's a lot of people there, and I definitely don't think
everything's bigger in Texas.
But Travis Scott, he's got 2 lawsuits now because of this. It's not the first time he's been sued from a fan.
Okay.
He's been sued by a fan before from Manhattan, rep New York.
Nice.
But it's not the first time that Travis Scott has been sued, which is like just
I mean, celebrities are used to it. And I see right here, like I googled it in 2018, 50,000 people were at his festival. So imagine how much today in 2021, right?
Yeah,
I forget the year now and then. So that's still a lot of fucking people, man.
Yeah, and, that is.
But the lawyers are going to be tremendous for Travis Scott, I imagine. So, like, I don't think you can really blame him. I mean, I know you can for sure. But I mean, what they want, $1 billion for like, for how many people? That sounds crazy. But if Kyle Rittenhouse could get off on the self-defense, I'm not surprised by anything anymore. But no, I think overall, like, I think it's significant. And I think concerts are 100% going to be affected from here on out. And I wonder if people are going to stop concerts more often, or if like somebody passes out, just one thing, like, because now if you get drunk and pass out, they're going to make you stop the whole show because somebody blacked out and had too much to drink, and it has nothing to do with the crowd. And if that person gets injured, now they can just sue. Yeah. And it just changes the standards for everything. So I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to sound like I'm defending Travis Scott, because I really don't give a fuck. That motherfucker's rich as shit. And his music's fantastic. Like, fucking Birds in the Trap, I think that was his first album back when I was thinking either like early high school or late high school. It was his first album. That shit was amazing. I don't know if you've heard it or anything, but that was one of the best albums to come out in this past decade. I would say like top 25 in terms of hip hop and rap. And I mean, that will always stick with me, and his music has always been pretty good. I think he's fallen off a little bit, but in terms of like an artist, I think there's only so much he could have done. There's so much people in control of that whole festival. Drake was there. Only like people selectively put blame on Travis Scott, not as much on Drake. And in 10 years, who give a fuck? Like, that's really what it is ultimately, except the families.
Oh, no.
They might give a couple fucks, to be honest.
I went to a concert the day after that happened.
Awesome.
And
badass.
And there was no mosh pitting happening.
Okay.
And my friend and I were pretty surprised about that.
There should have been mosh pitting, no?
Yeah, there should have been mosh pitting happening. And my friend and I, we went to go see one of the openers called Never Loved.
Never Loved.
I forget the name of the other opener, but the headliner was Armor for Sleep.
Okay.
But we were mostly there for Never Loved. and there was no mosh pitting happening, barely any crowd surfing. We were pretty surprised about that. We were like, what the fuck? The fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And so during one of the 15 like breaks or whatever, we were just kind of talking about that, and we were just like, is it maybe too soon or something?
Yeah, which is hilarious. I mean, like, in my opinion, sorry.
But we were saying that in the context of like in the show of like, is it too early in the show to do that? And at the same time, a Travis Scott song is playing.
Okay.
And so someone was like, yeah, I think it is a bit too soon for them to be playing Travis Scott.
Oh, wow.
And we were just like,
who the fuck is this? This pussy over here. Love that song.
Yeah. And we were just like, huh?
Mm-hmm. Like, what is he saying? Okay.
And then it hit us, and we were like, oh, man, maybe that's why there's no mosh pitting happening.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like people were kind of freaked out, or like maybe it's too soon in that context.
Yeah.
And so we are pretty surprised about that. But like I don't know, man. The shows that I go to, as you've already seen, people are super nice and super courteous.
Amazingly.
And it's just it surprises me that something like this could happen, because you know, I don't think there should be sole blame on Travis Scott, because at the end of the day, like from what people were even saying about this mob mentality going on and things like that, you know, there's a lot of shit just going on. It seems like it was just really crazy and
disastrous. Yeah,
and just like people couldn't like get their shit together. Yeah, and it's just like that's on them. Yeah, and
there's a lot of factors and this and that, but for one person to get all the blame to for other people to not get sued, and it's just a messy situation. Yeah, like ultimately what you're saying. Yeah, it's very difficult to just pinpoint, but people are pinpointing, and it kind of destroys the cases other people have to make for the ones that did lose their lives, you know, because, I mean, they do need some compensation, something, you know. He offered to pay the funeral expenses, but that don't really care. That don't matter to me. I know, like, that's one of those things where you got money, you know. It's like a good look type of thing. So, I mean, I don't know, but Travis Scott, if you ever want to come on the show, my number is... No, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
9999999.
Yeah, man.
Well, to continue the unfortunate theme of death, we can talk about Kyle Rittenhouse,
the GOAT.
So let me paint a scene for you.
Got you.
This kid is 17. Mm. There's a protest going on in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Yes, there is.
It's going on over the death of a black man died from a police shooting.
Yes, he did. Shot in the back.
And so this kid goes in with a military AR, and he wants to protect the property and volunteer as a medic, even though he's not a certified EMT.
Exactly.
He goes in, and someone starts to sort of front on him from behind or something, and he shoots that person and kills them.
Yes, he does.
And then another person tries to attack him with a skateboard, and then he kills them. And then another man with a pistol tries to front on him, and then he shoots him in the arm, and the guy's pistol is dropped. Yeah. And they're able to apprehend him from that point. And this kid just walked away scot-free.
Oh yeah. I mean, let me tell you, man, and I saw you that day, right? So when I saw the verdict, I was working, I looked at my phone, and I seen white boy acquitted of all charges, and it rung a bell, right? Like the 1,000th time I seen this shit. And look, man, ultimately the justice system did what it had to do. Is it perfect? No. Is it correct? Up to the people, right? But technically speaking, the process, that's what it led up to, right? But for me, I mean, it's just frustrating, because I feel like when you just put like person A kills 2 people, shoots somebody else, and is not facing no jail time, no punishment. Like now people are saying self-defense, or people are saying this or that. I mean, think about it. Imagine at a big crowd like Astroworld, somebody's walking around with the AR-15, not a security guard, not a license, anything, not even a dope in a lot of other states, right? This 17-year-old.
The gun law that he was acquitted for as well is because because he was charged with the fact that he's not of 18 or older, but there's a law that, there's some sort of law for hunting for teens. Yeah. And that's how he was able to get away with that.
100%. And like, you know, for those that actually watch the trial, because I love watching all trials because I just love wordy situations. Like I love like when people argue. Like I don't like when dumbasses argue for no reason, or like when people talk about sports and they start screaming at one another. Like I love the passion. But the cool thing about
passion.
the passion is dope because
the camera work is amazing.
Yeah, but like when it comes to court, like you get legal money on the line, like arguing where everything has to be like on point, and lawyers, they don't get enough credit. They get a very bad rep because they're selfish assholes, a lot of them, but they do a great job. You know, people are going back and forth on saying the prosecutor and the defense, like they fucking have anything to know about lawyers or like they passed the bar or anything. Like they don't know shit, you know. So a lot of people are opinionated and don't have the facts together, right? So for me, like, can I see the self-defense being within that for the Kyle Rittenhouse? Yeah, bro, because there was people actually coming at him, you know what I mean? Like hitting with the skateboard, jumping on him. But this kid really did aim his gun at people. This kid really did walk around like, you know, you can see in his face. I've met a bunch of Kyle Rittenhouses in my life, you know? Don't tell me you haven't either. Like, because we live in New York City, so there's a bunch of people here that, you know, you meet a whole bunch. But when you go to other states, you see a Kyle Rittenhouse every other day, you know? Yeah. And it's really the truth. So I don't mean to sum up this one person, but his bitch ass cried in court. You know, and there was 7 women in the jury, if I'm not mistaken, and his mom is in the back crying. There's a lot of factors where, I mean, in a movie you would see like he would be not guilty, just because of like, you know, his crying in the court. He's so young, they don't want to ruin her life, you know. Uh-huh. But I really look at him as the next George Zimmerman. I thought we would never come across something like that again, because when that guy killed Trayvon Martin, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he was, this might be fake news or not, but I saw it. He was auctioning off the gun he used to kill Trayvon Martin with, you know? And then he's on Twitter, like, just making jokes, and he probably has protection and stuff like that. So you let another person like that free, and you just open up the door for a bunch of these MAGA motherfuckers with ARs, you know? Yeah. And, man, at the end of the day, like, do I want this kid to get murdered? No, obviously not. You know, like, because I think if you lean towards that direction, you're not.
Who brought murder into this?
Shit, I'm about to end up in the court. But I don't think it's fair to be like, hey, he deserves outward punishment. Now, if he gets punched in the face, I'm not complaining, you know. But the jury did what the jury did. The court did what the court did. The justice system needs to be perfected, but there's nothing we can do at this point. You can't be tried again for it, right? That's like what, double jeopardy or some shit like that?
I think so, yeah.
See, we're not lawyers. Neither are you, motherfucker, listening who's furious about what I'm saying.
This is my least favorite part of Daredevil.
That's what I'm saying, bro. So, but just like Daredevil, the jury was blind. Damn. So the fags. Yo, dead ass, bro. But I mean, I at the end of the day, I love the drama and the suspense of like trials, because it really does lead up to this. Like, I wanted to watch the verdict live, but I was busy. But thankfully I didn't, because I probably would throw my computer out the window.
Is he doing what? Not voting?
Yeah. Nah, fuck voting. Well, okay, so what do you think about the trial and all that? Like, now that, like, because I preached a little, but what's your thoughts on the whole situation?
All right. Give me the soapbox.
The soapbox?
Right. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Oh no, my God. Like get off your soapbox?
Nah, I never heard of that term, bro.
Oh my God.
Put me on. What a soapbox?
It's just like, because like back in the day, it's just like the little box that people would stand on, like when they're doing announcements and shit like that.
Boy, I just learned something new. I never heard of it, but now I know. So here's the soapbox. Here's the soapbox. All right, what's up? Listen, what do you think about Kyle Rittenhouse, the GOAT?
I think this kid, mm-hmm. he definitely should have been found guilty.
Okay.
Like, as I understand how unfortunate of a situation this might be for him and his family, mm-hmm. and whatever the case is. I empathize with his family.
Yeah.
But consequences have to be made.
Yeah.
It, like, the fact that this kid is just getting away scot-free is like, it's almost like a joke.
I mean, it's 2 murdered people, you know, or killed, whatever you gotta say. I mean, he took away 2 lives at the age of 17 years old.
Yeah,
you know,
like he's gonna live with that the rest of his life. Yeah. Like,
and they won't live at all for the rest of their lives.
Yeah,
once that die, you know what I'm trying to say.
And just like George Zimmerman, he'll be fine.
Yeah. 100%.
Like it's pretty insane to think about that this kid is just gonna like, sure, he might deal with some mental shit and whatever the case is, and I guess that'll be the only price that'll be paid, but like it just doesn't set a good example.
No, not at all.
It sets such a bad example for the fact that in such a time in Black Lives Matters and things like that, where it's so important to make sure that people are held accountable.
Yes.
And this happens.
It's just a step backwards.
It's matter of fact, it's 2 step backwards.
Oh shit. Not 1, but 2.
It's a whole 2 step backwards. All right.
Yeah.
They're doing the cha-cha-cha backwards and they're not stopping. They just got that one part on loop. But I can't. It's just really frustrating.
Yeah, it is. It is. Continue.
No, I want to know so badly what was going on that day at home. Like, was he just home alone that day? Like,
he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take out my AR,
yeah,
my
like
big ass machine gun."
What really possessed this kid to really just say, like, "Hey, I'm gonna fucking take this gun and go into a protest and protect the property and be a medic."
Yeah, man.
Like, Jesus Christ, like
crazy. And he had like bandages. I think he helped a couple people. Yeah, a lot of people don't give props to the prosecutor because I think he did a great job. Yeah, I mean, better than any of you motherfuckers and myself. If you're a lawyer, not you, but I just genuinely think that like, what else can he say? You know, like he has the case right in front of him. This guy went out to a big ass crowd and shot a couple people, and there's not much for him to say. They just didn't have a crying kid on their side. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
But once again, I'm gonna go forward my life. I remember I was a little upset that day, a little flustered.
This guy came into work. He's like, "Man, you believe in this bullshit?" And I'm like, "Frankie, slow down. Save it for the show. Yeah. Save it for the show."
Yeah, he was like,
he's pacing back and forth. Man,
I was tight, man. I was super pissed, but I did have a coworker of ours. They told me, they were like, "You can't let those things affect your life right now and forward because it just doesn't do any good for you, you know." And I thought I heard it, but I delayed heard it because I was still pissed. but then after like 10 minutes and 5 minutes, I was like, yeah, man, like if I continue to just be upset at this, like it's going to benefit me none at all. And I had a good day that day, busy as shit, but I had a great day that day.
Nice.
Yeah. And yeah, so ultimately, I hope Kyle Rittenhouse falls and hits his head on the wall, a brick wall, with like a nail on it, and survives, whatever. But I mean, fuck that kid, you know? Fuck that kid and his mother. Because what kind of mother lets his child go out with the AR-15, you know?
Yeah.
Other than that, Kyle Rittenhouse, if you want to come on the show, call my number
and defend yourself.
Just don't bring your fucking gun.
Please.
I thought about that. I thought about if I seen him in person, right? You know, I was like, how would I react, you know? And I wouldn't be a dumbass and hurt him or whatever, because he'd probably win the trial if I did that. But I thought I would probably be pretty cool to him, you know? Because just not like, hey, buddy, want to chill? I'd probably just treat him as like, I would want to know more about what he has to say. I think he's going to be famous in the future. I genuinely think that he's going to grow up and be a famous person. I'm calling it now. He's going to like go on talk shows and some shit like that, make us a YouTube channel or something. But he's going to be like an influencer. It's inevitable.
You know, as a YouTube channel?
Pow pow. But
this is so random. You know, as a YouTube channel?
He has a YouTube channel for real?
No. You've seen Wilfred.
I have.
The guy who plays a dog, Wilfred, has a YouTube channel where he plays Wilfred in the videos on YouTube.
Awesome.
There's a video where he teaches you how to make a gravity bong as Wilfred.
He has his own joint company now too.
Does he?
Yeah, he sells pre-rolls in a cigarette pack.
Wow.
It's just marijuana. Yeah, he was touring a lot in I don't know where exactly. I don't know if it was Canada or something, but now he's in the US. He was in Las Vegas for a convention. Mm-hmm. Awesome guy. He's just fun. He still wears the suit and shit. But if you haven't watched Wilfred, check that shit out. Yeah, man. But yeah, I definitely want to smoke his weed eventually. That would be awesome. Yeah,
man. If only Wilfred could have been there to defuse the situation.
You just see him in the camera, like looking back. He's like, just guys, calm down. Calm down. It's gonna
Kyle!
be okay. Kyle, Kyle, just calm down. You don't gotta shoot. God damn it. Now I gotta bury the body.
Oh, no. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
That'd be fucking hilarious, though. But, man, this is terrible to say, but kind of excited for the next big trial. You know, like not saying that not saying that I want anybody murdered or killed or anything, but if it does happen, just by the grace of God,
you're gonna be sitting on the edge of your seat with some popcorn.
No doubt, bro. You know what I have for breakfast?
You're gonna
this
take
morning?
the day off from work.
Yeah, bro, I'll call out. You know what I have for breakfast this morning?
What?
6 chocolate chip cookies.
Nice.
That just to show you how my mental health is going.
Nice. But you're still running, right?
Huh?
You're still running, right?
Tomorrow.
Nice.
I'm running on cookies.
Listen,
tomorrow I'm actually running.
It all evens out.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
It's all good.
Nice.
All right. Now,
oh shit.
For the entertainment section, if you can't hear this, I'm rubbing my hands like a villain.
A conniving motherfucker villain. Yes, he is. But this is the best section of today, I think so.
We're going to be talking about a movie of the A.M.C. section.
Yes, sir.
And if you don't remember, A.M.C. stands for Album, Movie, Comic.
Yes, sir.
And this week we're going to be looking at a movie. This is a movie that's dear to my heart.
You may have heard of it. I don't know if many people have heard of it.
It's a very small indie film.
Yeah.
Super small indie film. But it's super dear to my heart. Not a lot of people have heard of it. It's kind of embarrassing.
Oh man, should we even talk about it?
I don't know, man.
Might as well. We already did it.
I feel so insecure all of a sudden. Oh no.
Let's talk about the Bible.
Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna say it.
Okay.
All right, we're talking about. Okay. No. All right.
No, we're talking about
Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope.
Jesus Christ.
This movie came out May 25th, 1977.
Okay. Oh, you did say that earlier, 1977.
It had a budget of $11 million at the time. With inflation, that's about $50 million.
Awesome, because I was just about to look it up. I'm happy you said that. All right. $11 million is still a lot of money. You know?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Other movies that have similar budgets, Hellboy in 2004 had a $66 million budget.
Bro, what?
Yeah.
What?
And walked away for $99.8 million in the box office.
Okay.
Deadpool had a $58 million budget, walked away $783.1 million in the box office.
No way.
And just to put it into contrast, Avatar had a $237 million budget.
Walked away with $3. It's so goddamn expensive. I'm sorry.
And $2.847 billion in the box office.
Jesus fucking Christ. I remember I watched Avatar. From my memory, I guess I was too young. I didn't think it was that great. But it's a spectacle to the eyes.
Yeah.
But story-wise, I didn't remember it to be so grand. I'm sure it's a good movie, though. I think I was just too young to appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
That was James Cameron, right?
Yes, sir.
The GOAT.
And what's interesting is that Star Wars has made a $775.8 million in the box office.
Wow.
During its original run, it made $500 million in the box office.
Opening week, right? And stuff like that? Or just in general?
While it was in theaters throughout its entire run.
Okay.
And in its time, due to inflation, it is the second highest grossing film in North America at $1.6 billion.
Okay.
And it puts it behind Gone with the Wind, which is at number 1, and Sound of Music, which is number 3.
I didn't expect either of those. I've never watched either of those movies.
Neither have I.
Fuck those movies.
But I just thought there was some pretty interesting facts about the movie.
Super interesting.
And I got should I save the reviews for before or after?
Oh, let's do a little bit after.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you what I thought about it for a second.
So this is your first time seeing Star Wars.
I am a 25-year-old
just
man.
For the audience to know.
Yeah.
I have seen Star Wars countless times. I have 2 Star Wars tattoos.
He does.
I'm a massive Star Wars nerd. Mm-hmm. I always catch new things. I rewatched it this morning and I caught something for the first time where I was like, oh shit.
And that's the best thing about anything. I know, especially movies. rewatching them, you always find something like that just stands out like crazy, you know. And I love to rewatch movies, and it's hard for me to like watch new movies just because I'm so caught up on the old ones. I'm sure a lot of people are like that, but again, I'm 25. I've never seen anything of Star Wars. I guess I played like Star Wars Lego games. Like I've seen references, countless references. So obviously I know Luke and who his father is. You know, like that. You know, shit. You know,
Who told you?
But let me start off the bat, man. I watched that movie this morning. Woke up and I needed to fit it in the schedule, right? So I just put it on, got it off Amazon, watched it.
It's on Disney Plus. You don't got Disney Plus?
Disney Plus, I don't even know that. I got like so many streaming services that I cancel so far. Waste of money sometimes. But
paying for cable at this point.
Basically, bro. That's basically what streaming services are now today. But that's a different event. Given that this is a like what's it called? An enhanced version. What do they call those when they like remake it so it could look more beautiful?
Yeah.
That's the one thing I'll say that I didn't get a true experience of it graphically because it's way more.
Because you know, I'll tell you this straight up.
What's up?
Star Wars is kind of notorious for being constantly remastered and updated.
There we go. Remastered.
And George Lucas has done a lot of it. Mm-hmm. Like originally, when it first came out in theaters, it was called The Star War.
The Star War. Okay.
And then it was later retitled to Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope.
Okay.
That was the first big update to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Another big example is that originally there was English language everywhere. So
gotcha.
like
the aliens and stuff like that. Like alien. I don't know what you call them.
all the signs and things like that were in English, and then they later updated it to like the Star Wars like language, which I'm forgetting the name of.
I want to say Klingon, but that's Star Trek.
No,
right?
That's Star Trek.
Sorry, guys, my bad. All right.
But those are like kind of two examples right there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things have been added through CGI in the later days by George Lucas and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of impossible to see like the original like way Star Wars was presented in theaters nowadays.
Yeah, it's kind of like the inflation version of the money. It's like the inflation version of the film.
Yeah.
You know? But I think I did notice because when I was watching it, like a lot of the creatures that they were like the animals they were riding, I don't know if I could call them animals, like they were on top, the stormtroopers were on top of these like dinosaur looking things, and these little rats that ran around, and they look so new, they look so like, and I was like, wait, that has to be part of the like enhancement part of today's version of Star Wars. But disregarding that, you know, bro, I mean, I felt like a kid watching this movie, you know. Like I think that's the one thing about it where I'm starting it and I'm like, I don't know what to expect. I know a couple things, you know, I know the names of the characters and the Force and stuff like that. But I mean, the elements that really like got to me, first, how imaginative it is. Like, you know, for this George Lucas, right? For him to come up with a world, and this is like episode 4, right? So it goes like backwards almost, right? If I'm not mistaken.
In a way, it starts at episode 4, then 5 and 6.
So yeah, so just a disorganized order, right? That's bold. And because on Amazon they have a little X-ray thing, I peeked at a couple of things, and one thing I saw is that 20th century, they thought this movie was gonna be a trash.
Yeah,
they thought this movie was not gonna be good at all.
No one believed in this movie.
And that not only is it inspiring like a motherfucker, right? I love when I hear like great ideas being doubted, because it doesn't make all ideas great, but a lot of great ideas.
There were a lot of changes made to the movie before it was made, and like during production and stuff. He
had a certain artist draw out the scenes to, I forgot the artist's name, but he had him draw out the scenes so they can visualize what his idea is. And I mean, I'm just very happy that like despite all the doubt he got, they changed their minds, because once they started screening it to people, they were like, "Oh no, this is good. You know, this is good." And
I always think about that episode of That 70s Show when they see Star Wars for the first time.
I've never seen that episode. I don't think I've seen that episode.
Oh man, it's so funny. Red is in the theater and he's like, he turns over to the kid and he's like, "This is dumb." And then like an explosion happens and he's like, "Whoa." And he gets super into it after that.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, man, like from the beginning, and just because like, you know, you live through the references and the music, and John Williams is a master at it, of course.
Hell yeah. My boy John Williams. Yeah, my boy John Willie.
Shout outs to him. I remember when I learned in music class, fun class, when they asked him to come up with the music for Jaws, right? I'm pretty sure he did for Jaws too.
Dun dun.
And he had done so many like Star Wars and right? And this motherfucker walks in with a big bass or whatever, and he just
I think Jaws was like number 5 or 6, and then like
in his films
in the top movies.
They were expecting something
of highest grossing in North America, if I remember correctly.
I love that movie. I love Jaws a lot. And when they came in to play the music for Jaws, it was just again dun dun, and perfect. It was genius, you know. So I mean, one thing I'll say just to skip over, like, because there's so much to talk about, is the scene where the
cantina.
Yeah. Oh wow, man! You step into a world that like sidetracks this from being a kids film almost, because it's not a kids film. I don't think so. Like it's more of a imaginative film. Like I don't care for ratings for this, you know. But you see the references to like murder, smoking, drinking, like stepping into a bar, you know. But like it's not like America. It's not this or that. It's Star Wars universe, right? So they depict it so perfectly. You get the vibe automatically. And one thing that I thought was kind of edgy when the bartender was like, "Hey, we don't serve his kind over here," right?
The droids.
They're like, yeah, they're like the droids. And then Luke is like, "Hey, you best you guys stay outside." I'm like, yo, they want to cancel Luke. Motherfucker just droids life matter, bro. Droids life matter. So when I saw that, I was like, wow, you know. So fucking that was, but not just that, but just everything, to the guy smoking like hookah almost, and even the alien. Can you call them aliens? Would you say? Or yeah, right. The alien smoking, and the instruments are made up, but they're still playing it so enthusiastically, and how even in this universe, you know the vibe they're trying to portray, but they do it in such a unique manner. You know, where I had to replay it because I wanted to hear the music. I wanted to, you know. And one thing I also will say is that like the stormtroopers are so easy to make fun of.
They're so dumb.
They're so dumb.
They're so dumb.
It is hilarious, but you know there's a joke that they always miss, right?
Yeah.
So there's a beginning scene where C-3PO and R2-D2 are I think they're walking past them shooting. They just walk right.
They're just walking through. They're just they're just fucking taking a stroll,
and they miss every shot. And so I know this is more so, how can I say, audio, but I did like screenshot a couple scenes, you know, because a lot of the screen work of everything was very beautiful too. Like the two moons behind Alderaan, right? This is Alderaan.
That is Tatooine.
Tatooine. They blew up Alderaan, right?
Yes.
There we go. But Tatooine, I thought another thing was when they murdered his aunt and his uncle, and how they had the two skeletons outside the house and everything. That was crazy.
Yeah,
that was pretty crazy, because it wasn't like just like a couple bones. No, it was full skeletons, and evaporated, you know, or like disintegrated or whatever, you know, evaporated. What am I saying? Yeah, just the imagery to this movie was fantastic. And
you know, go back to this one. Right. So the speeder, the way that they did this is that they had a mirror underneath the actual speeder thing, so that way the mirror just kind of reflected the ground. So, and that's how they filmed that. And then in post they just added the shadow.
I was wondering how they did that myself, because I figured, like, how the fuck do you do that? Like, you know, in what, 1977? Again, this is more enhanced, but Jesus Christ, that's amazing, you know. And Jesus Christ,
this movie won the Oscars for best special effects that year.
It should have, because I mean, it won the award to my heart.
You know, it was even nominated for Best Picture that year too.
What won that year? Do you know?
What?
What did Star Wars didn't win though, right?
No, yeah. I don't know what one. Let's see.
Let's look it up. I'll go on to the next scene that I was looking at. Yeah, just the this part will be recorded just so we can get some visual, and just even the animals that they're riding, like they resemble obviously, like, you know, bulls from Earth and but
Rocky won.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I fucks with Rocky.
Rocky also has an extremely small budget of a movie.
That makes sense though. How much well did you like Rocky? Did you ever see it?
I have. I wanted to watch all of them, but I never got around to watching all of them.
They get kind of ridiculous towards the end. It's kind of just the same shit. But I like
1.1 million budget.
That's crazy. That's still way more than fucking me. I want to make some shit. Give me $1 million. I'll make some crazy shit. I just know at the end of the movie he says, Adrian. That's his wife's name or something like that. That's the most iconic scene for me. But yeah, I mean, Star Wars, I'm just so happy that it exceeded my expectations, man. Everything about it was amazing. And sorry to interrupt you one more time, but with inflation, that 1.1 million would be around 4.5 million today, which is still nothing money for like big major pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, good for them. Rocky's a great story. That's like a great all around story that I feel like everybody should watch for motivation. I've even tried the egg thing he did. Gross, absolutely gross. Obi-Wan Kenobi's a great character.
Right?
Great character. There's one quote that I got down. That's my phone, but I'm using my phone to record. But he says, he calls him a fool, right? And he's like, who's more of a fool? The fool or the fool that listens to the fool? You know?
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing. And I was like,
the fool.
yeah. I was like, pew, pew, pew. Like, that's amazing. Like, he said, you know, some wise shit. I'm sure he's the first one to say it.
I have a review about Obi-Wan. I'm gonna just say it right now.
Throw it in there.
Okay, this is so I went on Letterboxd and I got reviews.
Are they dated or is it just like
they're
random?
not dated? They're just random.
I wish they were.
But this is from. I'll keep that in mind.
Okay.
This is from Indy, lowercase INDI, and Indy says Obi-Wan calling Vader Darth like it's his first name is the most baller fucking gauntlet slam of all time. Get on his level, you cronies. 5 stars.
Better be 5 stars.
I just thought that was pretty funny. I just had to include that one. Now, this scene in particular where Luke first gets his saber by Obi-Wan, they're talking about the Clone Wars.
And they did mention that, and I thought that was pretty amazing because that's a more later on release visually, right? The animation.
The second episode 2 of Star Wars is called Attack of the Clones, and it ends with the beginning of the Clone Wars.
Gotcha.
And then they have the animated series, the Clone Wars.
Amazing.
And because there's a 7-year gap between episodes 2 and 3, so the Clone Wars animated series takes place throughout that 7-year gap.
Gotcha.
So it's 7 seasons. It's a beautiful show. It's fucking great. And but when they first talk about the Clone Wars, the guy who created the Clone Wars today, whose name I'm blanking on all of a sudden,
you figure it out.
I'll figure it out because you know. Javi's a big Star Wars fan.
Apparently. All right.
No, but this guy, when he first saw this movie, he, as a kid, and he first heard about the Clone Wars, he was like, oh my God, that sounds fucking amazing.
It does.
And his name was Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni. Hey.
And Dave Filoni saw this movie as a kid and he's like, Clone Wars, holy shit, I would love to know what that's about.
For sure.
And he grew up to fucking be the creator of the animated series.
That's amazing.
Like
that's amazing.
That's a pretty amazing thing.
It is.
And the Dave Filoni in a lot of ways is almost like the next George Lucas. Like he has a lot of Star Wars creative control.
And he's much younger than because he grew up to create these things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's created the Clone Wars. He created Star Wars Rebels. He's created the Mandalorian. He co-created the Mandalorian to Jon Favreau. But he does a lot in the Star Wars universe. He's easily the next honcho, awesome. After George Lucas. But I just had to point that out with this scene.
No, it's amazing. and in reference to the Force in general, the Force is I don't want to say a euphemism, but like it's in relation to like God, I would assume so, right? Like not in the sense of like straight correlation. But I remember Han Solo was like, hey, man, I don't believe in the Force. You're going to tell me that this is energy around the world that, you know, is all of us. And then I'm like, Jesus? You know, like, that's the whole thing that comes to my mind the whole time, right? And I don't know if that was intended or with this or that, but it gave me straight God vibes, you know, throughout the whole thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, man, when I was hearing that, but...
I've always seen it as a more mystical thing than a God thing.
That's fair, but even God is more mystical in some sense.
You know, if you don't believe him. in a certain light.
Yeah, man. So there we go. We got Luke showing in the pictures right here. I have the screenshots. Luke, I guess the lightsaber. It looks cool as shit. Whoops. And yeah, he's playing around there. Oh, by the way, another thing that I think is pretty cool is that I think in this movie, in this series, there's something for everyone. And I think the C-3PO and R2-D2 is like definitely in its own light. I love how they interact.
Their banter is so good.
Oh my God, it's amazing. It's amazing.
I love the little moment where Luke walks away after cleaning them and R2's like beeps at him and C-3PO's like, I don't think he likes you very much. And R2's like,
yeah,
and 3PO's like, snooty. I don't like you very much.
I like when I have it even recorded where the scene where he's like, they try to sneak out of the little area, and then he goes up to him and he's like, "Oh, we're going down for some maintenance," to try to sneak out, and the soldier was like, all right. just lets them buy and everything. So that shit is so funny to me. I also thought just in general, the way they shot scenes were amazing. Like in this scene right here, you have, who is this guy? I don't know. I forget the names of these guys. They're basically the generals of Darth Vader.
They're just like generals and stuff.
Just
there is a certain general in there, General Tarkin.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pretty big character. In Star Wars lore.
Okay.
You see him in the Clone Wars because like
he's that iconic.
Yeah, he like for Star Wars nerds, they get it. Like they know who Tarkin is.
Everybody listening is like, I get it.
Yeah, they're like Tarkin's nuts. Tarkin basically is Darth Vader's like man, pretty much.
Got you. Like right hand man, second hand man.
Not even right hand man. Like Vader, like Tarkin controls Vader pretty much. Mm-hmm. So Vader has to always report to Tarkin and things like that.
I think I've noticed that every now and then. Yeah, he's like, let go of him. He's choking the guy.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and he's like, stop this bitter.
And Vader listens to Tarkin like that.
I like that.
And there's reasons to that, which you would see in like the Clone Wars and stuff, which is pretty cool. And I like there's just so much lore to Star Wars. It's just pretty incredible.
No, I mean, there's more story. I think it's 2 hours, but 2 hours is enough to capture a fucking film like this. Even at the end, they get to the next planet, right?
Yeah.
And then it's just more and more adds on. Like this movie could have just kept going and going and going. And bro, there's just so much to it. And I think, was it Harrison Ford as Han Solo, right? Uh-huh. He does an amazing job. He's like with the yahoo, whatever, like, you know, like his little cheer and stuff like that. At first, he looked like an old guy trying to portray a young guy, you know, but he was young, I guess, in that time, you know.
You want to know another updated thing in Star Wars, actually, with Han Solo?
Less chest hair.
In the scene where he has a little shootout in the bar.
Okay.
In the cantina.
I love that scene.
Greedo is fronting him and everything. Greedo, right before he fires, he says McClunky.
Okay.
That was added when they put Star Wars on Disney Plus.
Really? Why? Just cause?
Just cause.
Weird.
It's the weirdest thing. They just added McClunky.
What the fuck? I like how Jabba the Hutt looked, by the way. It's actually right behind you. If you look at it right there, I'll look at Jabba the Hutt real quick. Yeah, man. I mean, just Jabba the Hutt. I thought he was huge. I thought he was ginormous. Maybe he gets bigger. I don't know.
Nah.
But that's how big he gets.
Yeah. Yep.
Fucking cool as shit. And even things just like owing money and again, like things that are supposed to be a quote unquote kids movie, right? These are very like mature things to be involved in. Like, oh, you owe me money. I sent a bounty on you. I also see a quick peek at Boba Fett. Boba Fett. There we go.
He's about to show up right now.
Literally right now, he's about to show up. And the cool thing about that is that when I was younger, the cool thing about Boba Fett is that he was my cousin's favorite character. Everybody loved Boba Fett. And I was like, who the fuck is this, right? But he looks cool as shit. And the reason I bring it up is that I like how they reference these things because there will be more movies, right? There will be more like to it. And I think that's so cool how like you kind of have this faith in yourself that, no, we're going to continue doing this shit. Mm-hmm. So don't think this is the only movie that's going to come out. Because if it was a shitty movie, there would be no future telling of the rest of the story. But obviously people wanted it enough that they were like, no, we want to see who the rest of these characters are in the future, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that was really
George
cool.
Lucas wore a shirt on the set of episode 1 that had a bad review of episode 4 on it.
What a part. That's amazing. Okay. And I mean, I don't know much about George Lucas, but did he like ask people, like scientists and stuff, how like space would look? I don't know if you know any of that stuff.
I don't know, to be honest.
Because right here, when they're going at light speed, you see how the stars go like stretch out. I would never have thought of that stuff. For me, that would be some stuff that I would need to like ask somebody, you know. And what kind of kid was this?
I'm watching Cowboy Bebop right now for the first time.
Love that show. I only see a couple episodes, but it's great. Music is great.
I'm seeing a lot of Star Wars references from that show because like immediately it's just like sort of the whole hyperdrive type thing that they have in that show, and like the ships look so janky and whatever and kind of Star Wars-esque. I'm like,
has to be.
Yeah, I can totally see how Star Wars, like amongst a lot of other things, inspired Cowboy Bebop and whatever the case is.
And there's much more to like that it inspired, I'm assuming, you know, like in terms of just like later on creations, people have to reference this because there's so much what's the word, like it's ahead of its time. Like this is so ahead of its time that like in any form of imaginative space movie or anything, you kind of have to credit this. I don't know what pretense Star Wars, I don't know what was before it, But for me, like again, I don't just trying to join the wave when I watched it. Like I was ready to just see what my true thoughts were about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But god damn, this movie was fantastic. This movie was fucking great. Like you definitely can't knock them all out in one day, but it's a fucking good ass movie, man. And yeah, just in terms of visuals and all that, I just really appreciated storyline.
Yeah, I mean the story to Star Wars, I think, is just fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Even the little details, like where like they have their own music, own instruments. They have board games that they play. Like you have to create all these things. You know, I know they resemble chess and clarinets, and it is obviously like real instruments playing it. But what is it the saying? The devil's in the detail. You know, you ever heard about that?
Devil's in the writing or something like that.
Well, I've already sort of devil in the detail.
Okay,
but it's an amazing thing when somebody's able to pinpoint just these little details that are like, hey, let's put that into the movie because it'll make the project, movie, song, whatever, just a little more better, you know, or a little better. And I could really appreciate it, man. As somebody who wants to create things on my own, like in the future, I really appreciate just somebody's mind and how far it's willing to go. And for this guy, I wonder how his process was to create this. Can you imagine sitting down and starting from nothing and then creating a whole universe? It must be fucking crazy. So yeah, just the detail of things is pretty interesting to me and impressive. And I mean, I'm sure we're like the billionth person or people to like talk about Star Wars, but I'm very happy that
really we're not the first ones,
not the first 10. But
what?
I'm very happy that like I got to be able
Frankie,
to. Like,
that's really disappointing to hear, man. I really came in with this original idea. At least I thought, you know.
Oh man, it sucks, man. It sucks to suck.
Why had to go and break my heart?
It'd be like that sometimes, bro. Disappointment. Get yourself used to it. I really think that the suits for the stormtroopers were awesome. They're really fucking clean, on point. And I love how laid back Han Solo is. He don't give a fuck.
He does not give a fuck.
He don't give a shit, bro.
I mean, that's honestly just Harrison Ford being Harrison Ford.
Essentially, bro.
Like,
what other roles has he done in the future aside from this?
He stars in Blade Runner, actually.
I've never seen Blade Runner, which probably is going to be a good one to reveal in the future.
Right? He stars in Blade Runner. I'm trying to think of other big movies as well. I'm completely blanking on him.
No. I could see him play.
He's Indiana Jones, obviously.
I could see him play Arthur in Red Dead Redemption as an older version of himself.
That'd be pretty good.
That'd be
pretty good.
Yeah, man. And
what else has he been in?
And what does Luke Skywalker do nowadays, or is he dead?
Well, Mark Hamill, he plays.
Oh, that's not his government, Luke Skywalker.
No, he doesn't have an ID that says Luke Skywalker. You know, the original name to Luke Skywalker was Luke Starkiller.
Luke Starkiller. Yeah. I'm so happy they changed it.
Right?
That shit is trash. Just pulled up right now. If you're just listening, it's the stormtrooper dead on the floor. Because goddamn, they're so fucking hilarious, bro. They're so funny.
But Mark Hamill went on to voice the Joker in the Batman animated series.
Oh wow!
And he also does the voice of the Joker in a lot of other things like the Arkham games.
Okay, which are great fucking games. Yeah, I would even want to add a game segment. It just takes so long.
That
to finish
raspy voice is all Luke Skywalker. Wow.
And it's almost like this, right? It's like, hey, Joker, or whatever, you know, like kind of like that, right?
Yeah, it's like super like New York type accent.
There's to just talk about that very quickly. There's a part in that game, right, where he's like kind of torturing Batman, where he's showing him killing Robin over and over again, and he's singing to him, and he's like, and I don't know if you remember that game that part from Arkham.
Yeah, I do.
That's fucking awesome, bro. It's so cinematic to the point where, first of all, that game is amazingly like it could be a movie. That's how great it is.
Seriously. But
anybody that hasn't played Arkham City, any of them, right? I would say so.
Definitely.
Play that shit.
I mean, I would definitely say start with Arkham Asylum and then go to City.
Arkham Asylum is great. It's fucking fantastic. I didn't even know Robin gets killed in the universe of DC.
Really?
I didn't know that at all. Not at all, bro. I really thought that he would just chilled out with Batman surviving and shit. But I like that because it's important, man. I love the fucking
the trash compactor scene.
That to me is when I realized that like at this point in the movie, this is the scene in Star Wars. First of all, if you've never seen Star Wars, I'm sorry, I spoiled everything for you because you should have been shut this shit off. But for those who have watched Star Wars, this is the scene where the trash compactor scene, like you just said, so fun, such a fun scene to involve where it's not really relevant, but it kind of reminds you that like R2D2 still is in control with this like
Hmm.
external
That
part,
little external like
that connects
arm.
to the Death Star and stuff like that. That's what it's called, right? The Death Star.
Yeah,
And so it's an awesome way to remind the viewer, but
that
so
everyone's
fun.
involved.
Yes,
Like everyone has like their little part in whatever.
exactly. And a little fun fact thing of Amazon, it said that after this scene, the suit that Chewbacca wore smelled afterwards for the rest of the movie.
I fucking bet. Oh my god, that sounds disgusting. Holy shit,
yeah, man. There's so much personality to every character. This is the right now I'm showing on the screen where C3PO finally turns off the trash compactor and they're cheering. They're like, woo, like celebrating the fact that they're not gonna die. And then through the audio, C3PO hears them cheering. They're like, they're dying.
Oh no, they're dead. We were too late.
And it's so funny how like, you know, I expect that more from movies today because I think writers are more clever to make, you know, especially PG movies more like humorous for like the younger viewer and the older viewer. But again, 1977 were like, I don't know where movies were altogether at this point, but I think it's important to have a mixture of both. And I found myself laughing back and forth and like, and I did. And when R2D2 got his head blown off, you know, and he went, yeah, like when he did that shit, I'll tell you this, man. When C3PO was like, hey man, what can I do? Please bring him back. He's like, I'll even donate a part of me to help save R2D2's life or like, you know, robotic life. I shed a single tear, bro. Like, because it was like, it's a robot pleading desperately to make sure that, you know, his friend is okay. You know, the one that they've been annoying each other when he was like, no, I'm gonna do whatever I can to make sure R2D2 is okay.
Right.
And it's how do you add so much personality to beep, 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 you know, like how do you do that? You do it cinematically as a genius, you know? And so I honestly think it was amazing. I this part I did think was kind of ridiculous. This fucking swinging part where fucking
those
Luke,
stormtroopers just miss every fucking shot.
Luke and Princess Leia.
That Katie is so bad,
terrible. they where the fuck do you get this fucking rope from? You know, like not introduced at all. But they swing over to safety. That was the only part where I was like, this shit random as shit. And
you know, apparently they could only do that in one shot because they actually had Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher do that.
He didn't throw it though, obviously. They just swung once.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They just swung the once and like
they died.
They were like, we're gonna just do it that one time because we're not trying to like fucking kill anyone.
Yeah, you wouldn't want that on the set. Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin. Oh no.
And yeah, I mean, at the end of it, like ultimately speaking, this movie was an amazing experience. I'm very fucking grateful. The Force is great in this one. That's what he says, right?
Yeah,
strong in this one or something.
Strong
like
in
that.
this one.
Just lines that like you hear him reference to all the time, and you would think this is where Han Solo goes. Like, so perfect. And the thing about making a perfect scene is that you made it and you don't know what the viewer's gonna think of it, but somehow, some way, you did it amazingly. You George Lucas and all that created it, they come up with this amazing universe, and I'm extremely excited to really watch all the rest of the movies. Like, I don't care if we don't do it for this segment. I definitely am gonna watch them, but I'll probably end up watching them and talking about them here because I think it's really, you know, crucial because I'm a first time viewer, you know, like to anybody that's watched Star Wars constantly or told me to watch Star Wars, I will now. I will now. And if you want to read some more reviews, bro, go ahead because I'm just looking at these fucking pictures. I
got like 3 more reviews for you. I have from Brat in all caps.
Shout out to Brett.
And they say, when Han Solo is answering the intercom, like, everything's under control, situation normal. We had a slight weapons malfunction.
Oh, I love that shit.
Everything's perfectly all right now. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you? And then he physically cringes at his dumbass response and shoots the intercom.
If you want to look
That's so me. That's so me trying to handle my problems.
Yeah, man. I actually had to record that shit for myself because it was so fucking funny. I'm actually gonna play it. I'm gonna fuck.
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
With that copyright.
It's like weapons malfunction, but everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
How are you?
Negative. We have a reactor leak here. Lucas. Who is this? What's your operating number?
It's so fucking perfect, man, because the personality is really there for all the characters, and you could tell it's like this is the most effort he put into all of it, into everything. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, he really tried to, because he wasn't gonna do all this at all, right? He's like, I'm only here to take you guys there, and that's it. But nah, that was from what I saw there was actual effort to help save them. He was like, fuck it, that's as far as my effort goes, you know. So that shit was hilarious. I'm happy that was in the review, bro, because I captured that, and I think some other shit where it was like where R2D2 and C3PO escape, and yeah, the stormtrooper is just oblivious. He hits with the all right.
All right, I got 2 more reviews for you.
Gotcha.
So I got a pretty serious one.
Okay.
This is from James, and then they have a name in parentheses where it says Shafrillas.
Shafrillas.
Let me spell it for you. SCHAFFRILLAS.
Shafrillas.
Here, I can also show you. It's a little weird.
Yeah. Where is it right here? On top?
On the top.
Oh, Shafrillas.
Shafrillas.
That's how I read it. All right. All right.
So they say, delicious. Finally, some good fucking food. Watching this movie with fresh eyes without thinking about the baggage associated with the franchise nowadays is an absolute magical experience. Okay. The world building and unfolding mysteries are astounding. The character interactions are my favorite parts. For instance, seeing Han and Obi-Wan play off of each other is great, since their vastly different perspectives make for excellent exchanges. Everyone has great chemistry, the setting is well defined, the campiness honestly enhances the viewing experience. Only thing I don't care for that much is Luke. He's okay here, but not quite as interesting as he is in future films. Okay. But yeah, my compliments to Chef Lucas. Can't wait to see what he cooks up next.
Yeah, man. I actually agree wholeheartedly with that whole review, because really, I think I can be that reviewer. Like, I saw this, like, I've heard countless review. I had a good friend of mine, Tim, always tell me like, hey, watch Star Wars. And he's not into most imaginative things. So I'm like, why does that captivate his mind so much, you know? And after seeing like the movie, I'm like, damn, bro, he just appreciated good art. Like, this is just good art. And I really see it with Luke, because in this movie, I kind of seen like cliche white actor, kind of just doing the old thing.
Teenage boy.
Yeah, and he sees Leia, he's like, oh, she's beautiful. Motherfucker, she's pleading for help. And the first thing you say is that she's beautiful. That's very cliche writing back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, every single character here has something to bring to the table. But what I think Luke did do well is that he's very young. You know, he's very young and like trying to leave his uncle, have his own life, constantly losing people. Like kind of like a troubled youth dealing with loss. And that's represented a lot in film today, you know? So like the troubled kid who's trying to be something greater than his own.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's a coming of age story.
Exactly. So I don't disagree with that review. I think spot on review in terms of myself. But yeah, man, everybody here is great. And the chemistry is really amazing with the set too. I would wonder how they cast it and shit like that. Yeah. Because that'd be interesting. I know that for C-3PO, they wanted Orson Welles. Mayhew. Yeah, they wanted Orson Welles though instead. Really? I don't know who Orson Welles is. I know he's famous. Okay. But they said that his voice would be too recognizable. So they got Peter Hughes. Nice. Yeah, that's Amazon, bro.
Nice little fun fact right there.
Bro, a bunch of facts, bro. And I just get excited talking about this fucking film because it was good, man. It was fucking great.
I got one more review for you.
Let's do that one more review.
This is... Oh. Whoa.
What's up?
Crazy. This is a review from the same person. And we got a double review. I'm just realizing this.
Was it Shafriller?
Shafrillas.
Fucking his name, bro. What kind of name is that? All right.
He says... Oh, also his review for what his serious one is 4.5 stars.
Okay, I would give it 5 stars. I don't know who the asshole gave him 4.5.
Here's his joke review. Right. Usually, I don't rewatch movies unless I'm preparing to make a video on them or I'm showing them to someone who hasn't seen them before. Yeah. Tonight, I just said, fuck it, I'm watching Star Wars by myself for no reason other than it being Star Wars. Nice. We all deserve a treat sometimes. Star Wars fucking rules.
Hell yeah.
4.5 stars.
Oh yeah, man. And I can't even act like I'm that big of a fan or I know so much of it or this or that. But just in general, man, like, I just think that if you want to go back, not think too much and just relive a childhood that you've never had, because I was fucking not even a thought at this age, you know?
Yeah.
Fucking Watch Star Wars, man, because it really, to me, again, like the first thing I said about this, talking of the movie review, is I felt like a kid. I felt like somebody who didn't have to think about anything except getting lost in a world created by somebody else for our enjoyment. Like this is really a fucking awesome film. I hear they only get better. I hear like 5 and 6 is incredible. And 1, 2, 3 are like, I think they're like all right compared to some people. That's from my friend Tim. He told me.
They've grown on some people. It depends nowadays.
Yeah,
it depends nowadays.
Which one's your favorite movie?
I would say episode 4 is probably my favorite.
All right, no spoilers though. Not that we only spoiled the whole fucking movie right now,
Right.
Awesome.
Well, that's all I had for today.
Nice.
And I would just like to point out the time just changed from 4:20 to 4:21.
That's amazing.
So I just need to shout that out.
And if anything, that's the perfect time to finish off. I think we talked a whole lot about random shit.
Yeah,
man. I think, man, I can't wait till next week to really keep doing this because I think this was a really good episode. I think Star Wars was a perfect ass movie to go back and forth and banter off. Kyle Rittenhouse, the GOAT. Travis Scott, the GOAT. Again, if you want to come on the show, come on the show. That'd be awesome. And yeah, man, for sure.
And all I got to say to you is leave more reviews on Letterboxd. I love these.
Especially,
they're so funny.
Especially Chef Riddler.
Right, Chef Riddler's. I'm going to start following this guy in all his movie reviews.
If you want to come on the show, you know where to find us. Actually, we don't have any social media to shout out right now, right? So let's say we're going to create a social media from here on out. What should it be if it's not taken?
Well, we should try and have it Earth, Mind, and Matter, right?
So we should probably do that. So on Instagram or any other platform, look up Earth_Mind_Matter.
Or something like
that. We'll say it next.
We'll get you the official name next episode.
But that'll be something to look for. So in the future, look for that.
We'll throw up extra side pictures and little clips that kind of add to the show and whatnot.
Definitely. But otherwise, thank you for listening. Honestly, this is what happened on Earth.
And this is what happened to our minds.
And why it mattered.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. Hey.
Yeah, that shit was trash. That shit was fucking dead. Like, how you guys are so fucking funny? Oh my god, you need to see the fucking